A no commentary version of this run can be found in the pinned comment in the comments section below. This video is intended as a game walkthrough. It is not a speedrun. All strategies in this video were made for efficiency and success rate. Please watch the entire video and listen carefully to the commentary before trying any of these strategies for yourself. Hello everyone. This is a new game, normal mode, kill all, no damage playthrough of Parasite Eve 2 on the PS1. There's no point in doing the training. in order to advance the game, we need to go into the firearms office and exit so that Pierce will warp in front of us, and then we can tell him that we are ready to go. I'm not gonna lie, I actually really dig the classic Squaresoft kinda FMVs as pre-rendered background kind of thing. So this run was done on original PS1 hardware with an HDMI mod called PS Digital, developed by Citrus 3000 PSI and Kriz 2600. Shoutouts to them for putting that together. and for letting me be one of the lucky few to test it. Also, shoutouts to X-Grenadier for developing an all-kills speedrun route, which I heavily borrowed strategies and routing from to make this video. A lot of these strats would not have been possible without his videos and his help, so I will post them in the pinned comments for you guys to watch if you like.
Freeze.
I should also note that because I am playing on a PS1, and I actually wound up replacing the drive laser midway through the playthrough, there's going to be a fair bit of FMV skipping and some like audio skipping. Also in some of the later segments there's going to be some noticeable audio pops, which I tried to edit out as best as I could in post, so I hope you'll forgive me for it. But I kind of caught them like pretty late through the playthrough, so it was either restart the whole thing or try to edit them out as best as I could. If it's a deal breaker, I understand, but I appreciate you watching anyway. So, Pyrokinesis Level 1 costs 8 MP, so we can't really be spamming it yet. We're just going to stay like mid-range away. The SWAT officer there just kind of body blocked me from being able to shoot the stranger while he's flopping around on the ground. Thanks, guy. But yeah, for a game that's produced at like the very end of the PS1's life cycle, it looks good, sounds good. Definitely one of the best unsung survival horror titles on the PS1. Transforming into an ANMC makes you sound like a horse, too. Anyway, so once it gets close enough, if you use a Pyrokinesis, it'll actually cause an extra long stun, and it'll allow you to get in some free shots here, too. But 2 Pyrokinesis and some shots is enough to take on this guy. Man, Rupert's a fucking savage, dude. The strangers ambushing you on the way to the save point aren't a threat, so just run to the stairs. Just be spamming pyrokinesis. The occasional lucky crit is going to be enough to knock it backwards. Early levels of pyrokinesis, by the way, can actually do some knockback. But like level 3 is when it's just direct DPS and there's like no knockback. So as you're upgrading your PE, be aware of that. A lot of the enemies here actually have pretty high HP from the get-go. You can find a recovery too there if you want. After a point in time, I actually stopped picking up health items. The only reason I'm picking them up is just to show you guys where they are, but there's like kind of no point. So here's where the audio gets a little dodgy, and I'm sorry about that. I tried to clear it up by using the D-Clicker and Adobe Audition, which wound up mixing it in with the lows, but didn't remove it completely. I've since fixed the issue during Dis 2. The rats here are easy to kill. It's just 4 shots each. There's also some moths off screen as well, which you can just kill in one shot. You can switch between burst fire with R1 and firing single shots with R2. I put the Tonfa on as an attachment so I could have a little fun with it. The Tonfa is able to hit these guys through the counter as long as the hitbox projects far enough. It takes forever though, so I just recommend using Pyrokinesis. Still did it anyway, just to demonstrate that the Tonfa can do that. It's one of like the few regular weapons that is actually able to just like hit through walls. Hitting through walls is going to become a recurring theme in Parasite Eve 2, which I will absolutely be sure to demonstrate. But eventually I got tired. If it's starting to wear on my patience, it's going to wear on my viewers' patience even worse. Just put that M93R back on. Now we're going to go into this room and fight some rats. Rats all die in a single burst fire. If a rat doesn't die, then just mop it up with an R2 press. Yeah, you can see the loading is taking quite a long time. Like, it's actually, like, loading that happens after the fight is done, and that, like, dictates, like, how quickly you can skip the dialogue box and be able to return to gameplay. Next we get the blue key. We're gonna go use it so that we can get on the escalator. There's a free MP boost in this garbage can next to the back door. And also this tree with the red leaves here, if we examine it, we can step up here. Sorry, it's taking a little while to load. And then there's an ammo case here, which we can pop open, get a capsule. Which upon further examination is protein capsules, which will give you +5 max health in addition to healing you completely. I still collect all the protein capsules that I know where to find. Just so I can demonstrate where they are to you guys. It didn't really pay to save my MP here. I should have just used Pyrokinesis on the Stranger. But you can see how obnoxious it is to fight these guys without Pyrokinesis. So as you can see, one Pyrokinesis and a burst or two from the N93R are enough to finish these guys off. I think if they're in the middle of that dodging animation, they take significantly less damage. On this corpse over here on the bench, there's a tactical vest, which we're going to equip for the express purpose of having more slots. It has a couple more slots compared to Aya's leather jacket. And in this meteorological box here, there's going to be some regular grenades. So the brute fatties here have 280 HP. Can be disposed of in a similar way. I just kind of did it this way because I was going to be too low on MP to just be able to keep using Pyrokinesis. When we see fatties later, we're just going to be able to raffle stomp them with Pyrokinesis. On the SWAT guy here, we're going to get an MP5. We'll equip that. and attach our... We'll equip our tactical vest. We will attach our 9mm Parabellum, GPS, pepper spray, and grenades. Pepper spray is super good for stunning. Like, there are quite a few enemies that just, like, take hard stun from all that. We're also going to throw away all these, like, extra. I'm going to use that capsule there as well. If you press triangle, you can identify items. And we're also going to revive combustion, which will be our main vehicle by which we are able to clear rooms of enemies. You guys are about to see it in action pretty soon. We're going to pick up this red key here next. And then we're going to head to this side door over here. So now we're going to run over to this door and pick up the black card that not Kyle drops. Then we're going to trigger this next fight over here. So we're going to move out of the way and just mow down this first caterpillar. The second caterpillar is going to jump, and we're just going to ready up combustion, and they're gone. Just angle it to the right so it can hit all of them through the wall. Get an MP boost for winning this fight. But yeah, that's Combustion's #1 asset to you, is its ability to just hit things through the wall for massive damage and give no fucks whatsoever. The MP5 can kill moths with one shot with a flashlight, and we can hit most enemies off screen and kill them without ever having looked at them. Gotta get real good at identifying those death rattles. We got all of our MP back, so we can just go use Pyrokinesis on these guys. every time you level up your PE, you get all of your MP back. So killing those caterpillars just refilled my MP up to max. I was just able to use it all against the brutes. And then this guy over here, he's going to charge at us and be a dick, so we're going to run over here. But yeah, now that we have the flashlight, we can stun strangers pretty easily too and just DPS the shit out of them. Just every time you hit that flashlight, you know, just keep it on the ground. Now lastly, we're going to go upstairs here. We will grab some ammo out of the case here and save our game again. Somehow there's no popping in this segment. I guess it only happens on certain segments. I'll do my best to fix it whenever I see it. Run up close to this mob. Kill the moths with a flashlight. And these strangers can just be stunned via either the flashlight or through critical hits. But yeah, it's like they get up in my face like that. I'm just gonna knock them back with the flashlight. Just stun and DPS. Some mobs of enemies here, this one to start, are going to drop some 9mm Hydra, which will come in handy against the boss fight with number 9 later. For these guys, we can only really damage them when they're fully standing up or walking towards us or trying to. Using the flashlight is not going to come in handy for this whatsoever. Rats will spawn in this area again in addition to the stranger, but as you can see, this game has to stream the full attack animation off the disc. So if you have a bad disk drive, then Aya won't complete the animation fast enough, you'll get interrupted and you'll get hit. And this is Parasite Eve 2's one big flaw, is the way it handles loads and how said loads interact with the gameplay. Fortunately, this is corrected if you're playing on an emulator or off of PSN, but since I'm playing off of a real console with a real disc, that is a factor that I have to worry about. The red key will shut off the fountain so we can get the grenade launcher. The grenade launcher is guarded by these brutes, and we can just unload on them. Flashlight does nothing, but they won't actually hit you for shit. Except for maybe that poison there. That poison almost got me. Just gotta make sure that we stand pretty far back from it. The second guy will just run over to this side and do the same thing. He's pretty helpless from over there. And after we get this grenade launcher, we're about to be ambushed. Combustion will work, and then we can finish off any stragglers. After we come up the escalator, you can see a different camera angle here. That's a super special ambush camera angle. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to run over to the other side and mow these guys down. So by now, you've certainly seen all these Coca-Cola vending machines. I think that Square Enix entered some kind of arrangement to get additional revenue through like some kind of partnership with Coca-Cola for this one. Yeah, we're fighting more caterpillars and moths. We're just going to do the same thing as before. Combustion on the moths, but we'll use the flashlight on, or sorry, combustion on the caterpillars and flashlight on the moths, and just try to finish off anything remaining with the MP5. Anything that is not worth our MP, I should say. Caterpillars behind the church will ambush you, so we're going to use combustion as soon as we see them come crawling down. Then after that, we're just going to hold our ground and auto-aim towards the ones off screen. Now we're going to proceed to the bridge. Acropolis Tower is almost done. But yeah, just type code 561 and then we can just run across the bridge and kill these mutant koi fish. Otherwise, if we don't raise the bridge, then they're just going to bum rush us and we'll take a lot of damage. And the last enemy here is just a mercy kill. So before the fight with number 9, gonna do a little bit more inventory stuff here. We'll attach our grenade launcher to our armor and then equip it so that way whenever we go to equip the grenade launcher, it'll already The MP5 will already be stuck to our attachments, still loaded. But we actually want to load a different kind of ammo here. Want to attach the 9mm Hydra and equip it into the MP5. Get rid of any extraneous healing items that are just taking up space in our inventory. And that's pretty much it. That is enough preparation for the boss fight. Number 9 is pretty heavily choreographed fight. Not a horrendously difficult one. Most players can just out DPS him, but if you're trying to go for efficiency, he is a little tough. Take some practice. So when the fight opens, we'll hit him with one grenade, then hit him with another, and then we're going to run around the corner and reload. After that, we will gain some distance and equip our MP5. Basically, the idea is to just kind of bait him over to this live wire here because he's going to get here pretty slowly. Once we run into the end, we're going to take aim towards the power transformer and hit it. He'll start running, and then he'll run directly into the power line. Then we'll equip the grenade launcher and shoot him again, reload, and run away before he hits us with his tear gas again. I try to stay at this corner over here so that we have some room, because it'll premeditate where he aims the tear gas. So I can choose either to run forward or run to the side, either or. But yeah, you get to see what happens when you miss both of the big damage opportunities here. So don't shoot from too far away with a grenade. And wait for him to do like his running animation. But if you mess that up, you can use a pyrokinesis to stun him and follow up with a grenade. I ran around, reloaded, and equip the MP5. So for the last phase, he'll rush you, and he won't come any closer than this. You hit the wire, hit the steam pipe, and then equip the grenade launcher and pop him. And if he's still alive, you pyro him after his hit stun animation is done, switch to the MP5, and then just DPS him as much as possible. And that's it for Nakatomi Plaza. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. I think that's the bomb detonator. Great job, Columbo! Before we head out to Dryfield, we're going to do a little bit of shopping. Our purchases here will be the PA3, the Turtle Vest, and 60 shotgun shells. The Turtle Vest is the armor we're going to be using throughout the rest of the game. It's important because it gives us additional MP recovery after every fight, consequently allowing us to now go through half the game just mowing everything down with well-placed combustion usages. It just clears entire rooms. Combustion is that good. So we're going to go equip the PA3 next as our primary weapon, and then stick the M93R and the GPS on our newly equipped Turtle Vest. But not before we go to get every single item out of Aya's trunk. Take the belt pouch, the pepper spray, grenades, some 9mm Hydra left over from the boss fight with number 9. And we'll go ahead and use that other protein capsule. We'll use the belt pouch to give the Turtle Vest a permanent extra attachment slot. And we'll also put the pepper spray and 9mm Hydra on our Turtle Vest, in addition to equipping said 9mm Hydra to the M93R. I'll just round out the rest of everything with some MP boosts. But that'll be necessary for a fight with some Chaser ANMCs later. We'll also pick up some 9mm Parabellum from this ammo case. And starting on the next segment, we will be ready to start questioning the locals, quote unquote. There's a little bit of light audio popping on this segment, so sorry in advance. Anyway, here is our first encounter with the Chaser. Chasers are idiots and will ram into walls. Once they ram into a wall, they will become hard stunned. Shooting them in a hard stun is an almost guaranteed critical. We'll get some Hydras off of this. These bats coming out of the well here are a bit of an interesting encounter to deal with. Easiest thing would be to use Plasma, but I want to save my experience points, so I'm going to use the Tonfa instead. I'm going to wedge Aya into the corner and angle her nose into said corner so her right side is facing the center of the wall. This will orient the hurt box of the Tonfa so it will hit most of the bats while forcing the bats to have to do additional turn animations before they can hit Aya. We get some additional special shotgun shells in the trunk of this car, which will come in handy later. So before we hit Aya's room, motel room number 6, we're going to sweep any rooms in the motel that we are able to enter. Gonna run directly across the way to room 002. We got these strangers in the bathroom, which we can just eliminate in a single combustion. You can see I'm just kind of angling off the screen so to be able to hit them. It didn't kill them in like one hit though. Okay, so I lied when I said a single combustion. We gotta mop them up a little bit. We gotta level up combustion a wee bit more before it can actually start killing them in one shot. So in order to facilitate that, we're gonna run around here a little bit. Get these scorpions to come out of the ground. Now we're going to group them up. Kind of unsuccessfully in my case. So with the scorpions, we got to be careful because whenever they die, they leave behind a puddle of acid, and if you walk into it, it will cause damage. You guys also get to see Parasite Eve's targeting in action. Aya will only cycle between 2 targets, and sometimes they're not even the closest targets, or even the most dangerous targets. After this fight, we're going to level up combustion to level 2. So our first encounter with bone sucklers goes like this. You shoot once, they're dead. Sucklers are suicide bomber type enemies, so they can be used to our advantage if they're in groups of enemies, so we got to pay attention to that. Also, we get a flare. Flares will hit all enemies in a room for between 50 to 60 damage, and they are exceptionally good for rooms where there's a crap ton of flyers. Next room is going to be 2 sleeping chasers. We have to hold square to aim and manually start the fight here. The first chaser can be hard stunned with a single pyrokinesis, but first we have to stack Aya on the wall to the right before we use pyrokinesis and finish him off with a couple more shotgun shells. Reason being, his friend around the corner is going to charge. Similarly to the way enemies in Resident Evil tend to track the center of your hitbox, enemies in Parasite Eve do the same thing, so you can bait chasers into hitting corners of walls as they come running from off screen. At least that's how it is for this particular wall. The trick stranger in here can be eliminated with a pyro and a couple of shotgun shells. Probably should have let off with that pyro first. I'm gonna equip the M93R and 9mm Parabellum rounds. On the way to our room, we have to eliminate a few more strangers. They're all very weak, so all we have to do is just lure them towards the stairs and keep shooting them with the M93R from far away. We gotta start saving up our MP for the Chaser Gauntlet coming up immediately after the save point, so that's why I'm choosing to lure these guys over this way and shoot them with the M93R. They're not the most sentient bunch, as you can see. About the only thing that's actually going to knock them over is crits. So you kind of have to get lucky to knock them over. But they're very easy to dodge still, if they close the distance a lot more than you would like. I tried to enter this room, but it's actually locked up. We can't get in here until Dryfield Night. Once we get into the motel room, we're going to ditch the assault suit. You get like 59mm parabellum rounds here, just in case we want them. There's also some stems in here, in case you need them. Also those mystery shotgun shells or rifle slugs, which are pretty strong. Before we move on to the fight, we're going to equip the PA3 and make another save. There's a bit more crackling in this segment too, sorry about that in advance. Man, look at that ugly mug. For the first two chasers, we're going to hit them with combustion through the gate. Then we're going to run around and hit the switch. Two more chasers will spawn between here and the gate, and they don't move unless you hit the camera angle where you see them in clear view. When you do hit the camera angle, they are already mid-charge and it will be impossible to react, so you have no choice but to hit them off screen. We'll do that with Pyrokinesis and a shotgun shell. Next, we're going to equip the M93R. Then we're going to camp the hole the chasers dug earlier and use the AoE from the Pyrokinesis projectile to damage 2 at a time. Then we finish them off with the M93R. We can't use Pyrokinesis until both of the chasers that are spawned at any one point in time have their hitboxes intersecting with each other. We can, however, use a few burst fires from the M93R to reduce an upper layer of HP, so that Pyrokinesis will eliminate at least one of them. If there's any stragglers, we'll finish them off the old-fashioned way by having them headbutt a wall and then DPSing them on the ground. Raise this lever to open the gate down the ladder. The next key item is on this old dude's corpse. Not taking them recovery pills. When we climb down this ladder, there's going to be a lot of scorpions. We'll run towards the gate and under the street lamp to get them to try to come after us through the fence. Spoiler alert, they're stupid and they're going to burn for it. Next up, we're going to equip the PA3 and some buckshot. And we're also going to replace the MP boost on our armor with a flare for later, which we'll actually be using in a little while. Told you guys that flares are useful. You guys are about to see that in action. This is our first encounter with Mind Sucklers. They die easy because they have little HP, and the spread from the shotgun pretty much does them in. We win a combat light and can pick up the magnet off the refrigerator here. Sponsored by Coca-Cola. In the next room, we just use the flare to eliminate all of these mine sucklers. On our way to Douglas's garage, we're going to see another chaser. We're going to use our pepper spray here because it has the fastest startup frames to stun animation of any attack in the game. That puts the chaser on the ground, and we win. Now we can just do the magnet puzzle, get the key to the garage, and proceed. What's funny is this magnet doesn't have any other use in the game, and we just keep it for the rest of the game. Huh. Gee. I wonder why. Squaresoft trying to cash in on that CPM, huh? In the garage, there's 3 mine sucklers. We down the first 2 with 1 blast, and then run towards the door and kill both of them. And then reload, and then pop up another shot. If the rest of these mine sucklers are not on the top of Douglas's car, and consequently cannot be hit with shotgun blasts, we just finish them all with combustion. We get all of our MP back after this fight anyway, so don't worry about losing it. Okay, minus 1 MP, but whatever. It's not gonna matter. Hi, Flint. Here we are going to buy the P08 and the grenade pistol. The P08 puts out some of the highest DPS of any weapon in the game, and I will demonstrate that in the coming segments. Little proper application is all it takes. should be ready for the next segment, so now we can save our game. Man, Flynn is one smart-ass dog. They don't make video game dogs like they used to. So as we pick up this coil of rope over here, we're going to make a beeline for the door, turn around, and use a single combustion to eliminate all of these scorpions before they can do anything. The garage repopulated with mine sucklers, which can be eliminated in 3 shotgun shells. Target the first one, then cycle over to the third one in the back for the second shot. After disabling all 3 of them, target the first one so that Aya aims toward it after we run behind all 3 of them. The third shotgun blast will finish all of them off. On the menu where we can use the rope, I revive Necrosis Level 1. Then attach 2 combat lights to my armor. This will be used immediately as we are about to have our first encounter with the Stalker type enemies. Before the Stalker fight, there are 3 bats which we can just run past, target any one of them, and a single shotgun blast will kill them all. Immediately after this fight, we're going to equip the grenade launcher. Then we're going to put our brand new P08 on our armor, swap it out with the M93R, and load it with Hydra rounds. This is about where the P08 will start to put in the work. The lights in this area need to be turned on, and that's both switches. When starting the fight with the Stalker, use the combat light immediately to drop it from the ceiling and force a hard stun. Then use a single grenade launcher shot and follow up with Necrosis. Stalkers will reveal themselves under 3 conditions. 1. Blind them. 2. When they are about to attack. 3. When you hit them. By tagging this guy with Necrosis, we can actually move to the part of the room where he cannot come after us, which is the door to the wine cellar. He will either eventually die from Necrosis, or we can wait for him to run to the other side of the hall, where we can use the combat light to force visibility and finish him off. If you don't have any grenades, use the P08. Speaking of which, equip the P08 with the Hydra rounds. And also use the protein capsule that we just got from this guy. Yes, past Carcy, our grenade launcher is out of ammo. So I just put the PA-3 and the buckshot on as an attachment. When this fight starts, we gotta squeeze behind the wine cask and use combustion to eliminate the bulk of this bat and rat swarm through the wall. Then we'll just finish off any enemies with the PO8. Past Carcy is being a fucking shit pile again, and he forgot to turn on the lights to this room from the outside, so don't be like Past Carcy. Listen to present Carcy when he says, flick on both light switches before you enter this room. Once the lights are turned on, you can grab a PO8 snail mag, which increases the ammo capacity of the PO8 to 32. We also get a flare in a crate behind a wine cask. Yeah, you have to examine that gun case twice in order to get the PO8 snail mag, by the way. But yeah, anything that gives us a free kill on a swarm of mine sucklers is very, very good. Blood sucklers populate the convenience store here, and we already know what to do with them. Got another flare here. Spoils of battle. There's also some Coca-Cola in the fridge here. Coca-Cola restores 20 HP and 80 MP. It is really, really good for your mitochondria, so buy some today. This sponsored post brought to you by 1990 Square Enix. For the chasers in the back alley here, we'll open up with Pyrokinesis, then finish them off with the PO8. You can see the PO8 crits quite frequently. It does a little over 100 damage per crit if you have Hydra rounds equipped. So the PA3 for direct damage is almost completely worthless now, but it's still good for things like using rifle slugs on scorpions, because scorpions do not take critical hits. Like in Resident Evil, it's about the right ammo on the right enemy, and not about which ammo or gun is stronger. Next room, there is a mind suckler and 2 blood sucklers. By examining the cash register twice, there is a belt pouch. We will attach the belt pouch immediately to our turtle vest and attach the 2 flares we got earlier. There's a box of firefly ammo in the barrel at the end of the alley. We can't go in through that front door because it's locked from the other side. We have to check this dresser and examine the bolts here before we can move on. I always thought it was kind of silly that the game wouldn't just let us go. And that we have to run all the way back just for no real reason whatsoever. It's just completely superfluous backtracking just to get a wrench. Before we save our game, we're going to toss the M93R 9mm Parabellum and the Tonfa baton into the trunk. There's more enemies to fight the next segment before the boss. There's two chasers here. You know the deal. Pyrokinesis, finish them off with the PO8. Stepped out of the way here so that our friend would hopefully hit the wall, but our pyrokinesis just completely missed. Kinesis. In room 01, we can just use a single combustion to wipe everything out. Watch the radar, and you can see which enemies are going to be in range while you're queuing up the attack. You can also see that you get back an equivocal amount of MP spent for some battles. The Turtle Vest regens a lot of MP, so we just got that whole combustion for free. Next, room 02. We'll shoot the Mine Sucklers with the P08, and then use combustion through the walls to take out the Blood Sucklers on the ground. You can see them on the radar. The GPS is super good for hitting off-screen enemies. Can't recommend it enough. Here we want to re-equip the PA3 and load it with some rifle slugs so that we can go fight some scorpions. Use combustion on the mobs, but use the rifle slugs to eliminate any stragglers. Also, we gotta be careful not to step in the puddle of acid they leave behind. But yeah, we gotta use rifle slugs here, as, like I said before, the scorpions do not take critical hits. So you have to have ammo with a strong enough base damage if you're going to be able to kill them in one shot, although it was just brought to my attention actually that scorpions are armored enemies, so the rifle slugs just do like a big old damage bonus to them. Once we come downstairs, there will be a lone chaser. Some mobs that contain scorpions hide the scorpions until you eliminate one enemy. This is one of those encounters. Pyro and shoot the chaser, then the scorpions will come out the ground, at which point you can use combustion to eliminate all of them. These scorpions have 50 Hydra rounds whenever you complete the fight. Public toilet. We'll kill the first Suckler off screen right in front of us. Then use combustion on the others that are hidden around the corner. Next, we're going to make our way through this bar. Gene and Roy's. There's some Coca-Cola in the refrigerator. And in the back, there is a map of Dryfield. In the back room of the bar, there's 2 mine sucklers and some rats. We shoot the mine sucklers with rifle slugs, and then we use combustion to eliminate the rats. 5 enemies total in the room. When we go out the back door, there's another mob of scorpions. Similar to before, there's some scorpions hiding in the ground, so we're going to start by using combustion on this group over here. Then they come emerging out the ground immediately. If any of them stray from the group and get too close, just waste it and then wait for the others to group up. After that, we'll use combustion to eliminate the rest. Like so. On the way to Douglas's garage, there's yet another mob of scorpions exactly like the last one. You should know the drill by now. 1 shot to pop them out of the ground, and combustion to take on the rest of them. And any stragglers we'll just take out with a rifle slug. And that's it for all the mobs of enemies this segment. After asking Douglas for information, we can go grab the wrench from his garage, like he tells you to. No need to worry about any Mind Sucklers or any more stupid enemy spawns for the rest of the segment. We can now proceed to save our game at the payphone next to Aya's car where we started this segment. Before we go to save our game, though, we're going to equip the P08 and level Pyrokinesis to level 2. At level 2, Pyrokinesis still has knockback, but does significantly more damage. Before going into this fight with number 9, just replacing my buckshot with rifle slugs. Because shotguns have very little ammo, it's nice to have a little bit of agency over when you can reload. So the strategy for number 9 is as follows. Run wide angles around the room and he'll swing with his gunblade and miss. Then we go to his back and use Pyrokinesis. Don't be afraid after the stab. The stabs do track, but after the tip of the blade flashes is when you want to rush in and hit him with 2 pyros. When he says like, whoops, or shit, that's how you know you scored a crit. So after 6 of these hits, he will be dead. Yeah, number 9 is mad easy. Wonder whose feet those steps belong to. Once we resume control, we re-equip the PA-3 and the rifle slugs. You can probably guess what these are for. If If you guess scorpions, you're fucking Nostradamus. Congratulations. When we're outside, you can just detach all the scorpions one at a time. I don't count damage to Kyle against my clear, but that's because you have little control over whether he gets hit or not. Sometimes he'll just do something completely fucking stupid like that. These moths, same dealio. You can just let Kyle deal with them though and save some ammo. When we trigger the fight, we gotta get a little bit closer in order to get Kyle to start shooting at them. Of course, moths love light. These gremlins over here are Scavengers. We just use shotgun and rifle slugs, and also pyrokinesis. If you stand at the exact right range, then you can get them both in a single pyrokinesis. See, I got a little lucky over here because Kyle hit that one mid-air. Personal recommendation is to just use the P08 though, and just stand far away. So our next destination is going to be Douglas's garage. And we're going to go through the underground passage to get there, because there's a few more enemies to take down. See more Scavengers once we climb down the ladder, and they can all be killed with no resistance because they hate light and will burrow their heads. For this room, we're going to run over here. We'll hit circle in order to cancel out our auto-aim. We can just combustion on these guys. And combustion on these guys too. Get a pretty good chunk of our MP back. Next is the bottom of the well. The hole here where the bats were hiding out at earlier has a protein capsule. Then we get into an encounter with a lesser stalker over here. I forget what they're called actually. I don't know exactly what they're called. They're just stalkers. But they can be killed in 2 pyros. 2 pyro 2s rather. This one in particular dropped 10 fireflies. When we get out of the well, we're going to run into this corner and use a flare to eliminate all these bats. Then we'll head into the garage here, where we're going to encounter some more scavengers, all of which can be killed in a single combustion. In the back lot, there is another stalker. So as before, Pyro is great against these guys because the projectiles are very large, and if you aim at a choke point, you're almost guaranteed a hit. But because there's 2 of these guys, I'm going to use combustion instead. 2 combustions did the job pretty good too. There's more hotspots on the map, but no enemies are going to respawn and overwrite any of the other hotspots. So we can just go to Douglas now. Before we save, we can also buy some more things from Douglas. An M4A1 and a rifle clip holder. The M9 bayonet is actually pretty good. I played around with it in like some practice segments. I also got a pepper spray for use against the burner later. Use that protein capsule and that rifle clip holder just to get them out of my inventory. So I could go back into the store here and buy 6 more boxes of rifle ammo. And that's good for now. Almost forgot to equip those rifle rounds and attach the pepper spray. And the PO8. Just going to curate my weapons a little bit so that we can be ready for the next segment. Past Carcy hopes buckshot is the right call. For the most part, the jerry can segment is just eliminating a lot of enemies. But after you talk to Douglas, some of the rooms will repopulate with enemies. There's 3 stalkers in the garage. Open up with a pyrokinesis, and then follow up with a burst or 2 from the M4A1. Depending on whether pyro crits or not, you can possibly finish a stalker in 1 burst fire. If there's 2 or more stalkers, then use combustion instead. More economic use of your MP. Next, we're going to head out through the back path behind Douglas's garage. Once we come out here, there's going to be a cluster of bats. Combustion will take most of them out. Then you can kill the rest with a single M4A1 shots. Each one can be killed with a single M4A1 shot, I should say. Use singular shots. For the scavengers and moths in the water tower area, we'll use combustion to get rid of the scavengers here. Then wedge ourselves in this corner and finish off the moths with single M4A1 shots. As usual, a single combustion will be enough to eliminate all the enemies in the back room of the bar. One or 2 single shots will be enough to deal with the blood sucklers in the bar. This fight with scavengers in front of the motel office is triggered with the zone trigger right here. Once you hit it and the scavengers come out, back up a little and use a single combustion to take them all out. This combat light is actually not worth it. Don't bother. For some reason I didn't use that MP boost. I should have. This fight is also triggered by a zone trigger. Supposed to see these babies crawling on the ceiling like in Train Spotting. On the rooftop, all the scavengers here are all spread out, so the best thing that we can do is just try to pick them off one at a time with the M4A1 after using an initial combustion. I got a little lucky there because if I'd actually like just held the button and kept firing, then chances are that scavenger would have actually hit me there. They kind of like jump at you. I'm not sure whether it's like 100% consistent that you can just like shoot a scavenger as it's about to attack and it'll crit, but it's definitely worked every time I've used it. So outside the hotel gate, there's a bunch of moths and 2 chasers. The moths only serve to create zoning and a distraction to make the chasers more difficult, so we should do our best to eliminate the chasers first. Then kill the moths with single M4A one-shots. Things are a little spread out in room 101, so we'll use a single combustion to take out as many enemies as we can. In my case, I was left over with a blood suckler, which I promptly killed as I wedged myself in and have a place to eliminate this remaining scavenger. Scavengers don't really have very many mobility options because they keep hopping forward, and they gotta complete that hopping animation. So his ability to turn and actually meet me in that gap is not so great. We'll level up Combustion to level 3, where it takes almost no time at all to cast it, and it does an obscene amount of damage. In room 002, we just use Combustion twice to get rid of all the blood sucklers in here. Just gotta wedge myself in the corner so the suicide attack doesn't affect me. Next, we'll go solve the cash register puzzle. The solution is pound 3033 total. Now let's go check out the rest of these motel rooms. In 003, we can use the blood sucklers against each other. Room 004, single combustion. Yeah, that combat light I picked up was pretty useless. I discarded my MP boost for nothing. Might have been better off used on those moths from earlier, because flashlights will kill them. In 003 there was an MP boost too that I missed before. Once we've gotten the key, we have a bit of a stalker problem on the roof. As usual, they do go down fast with a Pyro and M4A1. There's just two of them here. Oh wait, I got a little ahead of myself. I could have used the combat light here. So 005 has moths. The trick to the moths is to back up Aya's left a little bit before using combustion. If you do it immediately, the moth's suicide attack will hit you and blind you. So just try to create some distance before you kill the moths. It's basically the only rule to that room. The code for the safe is 4, 4, 8, 7. You receive the holy water here. You can use it to revive the water PE skill if you want. When you grab the jerry can, 3 stalkers will pop out from the ceiling. So we'll wedge ourselves against the shelf here and use 2 combustions once they get close enough. A single combustion will generally take out a stalker if it crits, but probably not unless we have the Ofuda. Sorry, Ofuda. In room 005, I forgot to get the hidden belt pouch. You can only actually attach 10 slots maximum to a single piece of armor. But compared to the turtle vest and the Aya special, everything else sucks ass. So just attach everything to the turtle vest. Just don't bother with any other armor. So now we gotta go fill up the jerry can. In front of the gas pump is 2 stalkers. A couple of pyros will kill the first one. Then we can finish off the second with the M4A1. Although that second one would have remained invisible throughout the whole fight, so I don't know. I'm not your real dad. You can do whatever you want. We still have access to the garage through the main hub area, so we have to take advantage of that while we still can. More enemies will spawn after filling up the jerry can. 3 stalkers spawn outside of Douglas's trailer. For proper MP conservation here, we'll just use a singular fire attack, then finish off with the M4A1. Pyro if it's a singular stalker, combustion if it's these two. I like to group these two. Upon entering the well entrance, target a bat, let Aya spin towards it to target it, then use combustion. It'll wipe out all of them. Once we've gone down the ladder here, this entire underground is basically just full of brutes. Now we're going to just use Pyro and the M4A1 to finish them off. You're probably noticing a trend right about now. The M4A1 is not a particularly useful gun for just straight up killing enemies. It's more of a follow-up weapon after you've used your main massive damage for just like mopping shit up. But yeah, this whole room, same dealio, just Pyrokinesis, M4A1. Pyrokinesis, M4A1. Discard the recovery too. We don't need that. We're gonna run around here, and as you can see, yeah, the wine cellar repopulated with rats and bats in slightly different positions, but We can eliminate the vast majority of them with the same strat as before. Behind the wine cask, combustion, then mop up. In the convenience store, we aren't even going to look at the enemies that we're about to kill. Just let the scavengers wake up. Let them aggro on Aya, so that Aya doesn't raise her gun, and then that will let Aya use PE immediately instead of raising her gun first. In the back alley, there's now 2 chasers and a bunch of moths. The first chaser will be heavily damaged with a combustion, and said combustion will also eliminate a bunch of moths. Now we can kill the first chaser, then use Pyrokinesis, finish off the second chaser. Then to end the fight, we're just going to hit R2 and dispose of all of these moths. We'll head into the center door next. Blood Sucklers in this room. You know what to do. We'll let the enemies aggro in order to start this fight, so that we don't raise our gun. We just use combustion literally immediately. Because remember, if you raise your gun manually to start the fight, Aya has to raise her gun. It'll throw off the timing. Also, we gotta unlock that door because we're going to be returning to that room quite a lot whenever we have to mop up some more enemies. In the dilapidated old shop, combustion. Now we're gonna head back to Aya's car. And we'll fight 2 more muscle horses. Combustion to get the vast majority of the damage out of the way and damage them both, then finish them off with the M4A1. We'll go through these 2 gates here, high flint. We'll open this fight manually, and then we'll use a flare to get rid of all the moths in this room. So, because it's close quarters, we need to clear out as many of these enemies as we can so that we can actually deal with the chasers correctly. The flare will also knock over both the chasers, so you use the recovery time to your advantage and you can get the drop on one of the chasers. After that, all that's left is this other one. Somehow that chaser got knocked back around the corner after I used Pyrokinesis. I'm pretty sure he was not around the corner before I used that Pyrokinesis. Behind the gate to the motel, or sorry, I misread my part of the script. Oops! There's only moths in the bathroom, and maybe some rats here too. Combustion again. These enemies are pretty arbitrary. Back room. Combustion again. Now we're going to revive Necrosis, because Necrosis is very, very important to use against Burner whenever we go to fight Burner next segment. Once we head into the water tank area, the water tower area, there's 3 Stalkers. Open up with Combustion and mop up survivors with M4A1. Sometimes Stalkers will survive Combustion, but that's okay, because you got the M4A1, don't panic. Combustion will deal enough damage to be able to finish them off in 1 shot. Pyro sometimes might take 2 shots, but generally 1 shot. In this back pathway behind Douglas's garage, we're going to use Combustion twice to eliminate the Chaser and most of the Moths. And then a single shot to finish off the rest of the Moths. Now we're going to cut through the washroom over here, or the motel room over here, to get to the laundry room. A single combustion will hopefully be enough to kill the Stalker in addition to those Scavengers, like it was for me here. If not, single M4A one-shot, and then afterwards mop up the last 2 Scavengers. We're going to revive Energy Shot, and then we're going to re-equip the P08 and the Hydra rounds. And although it's like not really necessary, I put on some cola for posterity, you know. We also just revived like Energy Shot, so we're at max MP now, so we're very much ready for the next segment, which is singularly entirely for Burner. Because fuck Burner. That's a cute little loading screen with Douglas and Flint. To open the fight, we will use pepper spray to trigger a hard stun. Then we'll move around the corner of the T-shaped junction and use Energy Shot 1. Energy Shot 1 will increase damage and also increase your critical hit rate. When Burner comes back in range, we will next use Necrosis. Burner's next attack should miss as long as you are standing in a specific spot when you cast Necrosis. Necrosis will periodically hard stun and interrupt Burner while causing its defense to drop. Immediately after casting Necrosis, we'll cast Energy Shot one more time to top it off, as it stacks once. Now we can start shooting. First cycle is 12 shots. As soon as we notice Necrosis is out, we have to cast it again immediately. If Necrosis procs, Burner is crit, or an attack is landed during a part of its vertical up-down flamethrower attack, its head will jerk, and the attack will miss. Second cycle, 12 shots roughly, until we need to cast Necrosis again. Just keep shooting until Burner enters its second phase. Necrosis is gone when the second phase starts, so start it immediately. After 12 shots, I delay before using Necrosis again, as I want to make sure that Necrosis is up before I move towards room number 6 to finish him off. The reason I want to move to room number 6 is because he will destroy a large section of the balcony, and I want to be on the side closest to the room before it goes out. As long as Necrosis is up, we have enough opportunities to stun him out of hitting us while we drain the last of his HP. If you do this fast enough, Flint lives. It is possible for Flint to die here if you take too long. By saving Flint, we unlock some other in-game events. It doesn't actually influence the ending, contrary to popular belief. Shoutouts to Pinkie Pie Style 1 for pointing that out to me. Oh, also needed to go into the laundry room one more time as well because there are enemies, and this is an awkward place to get back to, but they all die in one combustion, so that was easy. Also get some fireflies for later. That's a really cute little picture of Douglas and Flint in that loading screen. Going out the back window and in through the bar in order to make it out to Douglas at the front gate. Deviation of a few rooms, but make it pretty fast. In the bar, we use Pyrokinesis to eliminate this first scavenger behind the bar over here. Then we'll use Combustion to clean the toilets of the gremlin infestation. Don't got a blast of bright light to deal with it, so we gotta do the next best thing. In front of the motel office, there's a chaser and a bunch of scorpions. We have to kill the chaser first, so the other scorpions will spawn. After that, we use Combustion to eliminate scorpions while being careful to avoid the suicide acid on the ground. We get a flare for winning this fight. Now we go upstairs to room 005. I used a MP refill. A single combustion will clear the bathroom over here. They drop riot shells, but don't bother picking them up. They're useless and they just fill up an inventory slot. Next we're going to go to room 002 and we will clear the bathroom with combustion. Now because of all these blood sucklers here, it's going to be pretty uncomfortable trying to kill the rest of them. So we got to run in here in order to use combustion again and clear out the rest of them. Next is room 003. The easiest way to ensure we don't get hit by bloodsuckler suicide attacks in here is to run directly to the bathroom, wait for them to group up outside, and use combustion through the walls. That bathroom is the only area in this room that is protected from any other attacks. In 004, we can just run to the head of the bed here and use combustion. It will clear all the enemies here. I didn't even have to raise my gun, I just kind of did, I guess. Probably because I thought that raising my gun would cause Aya to spin closer to the enemies, but really it's just better to not aim if the battle starts immediately like that. 2 combustions towards Aya's left and towards Aya's right will clear out all the enemies in 001. Just like, don't even worry about them. Next up, we gotta clear the east side of Dryfield again. We aren't getting away that easy. All the enemies in the convenience store are all very spread out, so unless we have an extra flare somehow, we're not going to clear the room very fast. So we have no choice but to use a couple of combustions and finish off any remaining with the P08. Can't really see where the other enemies are in here, so in favor of not taking some dumb contact damage or something like that, I just decided to follow the radar and just use combustion. Finish off the rest. Also, don't be like past Carcy and forget that we're supposed to go to the back alley instead of through the mine shaft like this. Past Carcy, please go back. You're being a fucking shit pile again. Thank you. So heading into the back alley, we got to go into the equipment menu really quick. We're going to equip our flare. And then use Pyrokinesis on the first chaser over here. Then we're going to use a flare. Using the flare while the chaser is on the ground will actually cause a lot of extra damage. So that's pretty much it, just Pyrokinesis and flare for that fight. Then going back into the room with the number 9 boss fight, we're going to have to use combustion twice to clear all these guys. Oh, I missed that guy. Actually, it's more like just use combustion once and finish off that scorpion right there. Now we follow the path that past Carcy was trying to take earlier. Before we head to Douglas, we're going to do a little bit of inventory rearrangement. Use that protein capsule. Also, get rid of the buckshot here. I like to keep the firefly rounds because those are pretty useful against a lot of the enemies that are weak against fire in the Shelter and Neo Arc later on in the game. This room is kind of a pain in the ass, but fortunately it's very open, so we can kind of wing it a little bit. I used combustion to knock over the chaser and kill the first mine suckler, and I finished off the chaser with the P08, then narrowly missed getting hit by the other chaser. At this point I'm waiting for the chaser to hit a wall so I can finish both of them with a single combustion, but it probably would have been a lot safer to use Pyro and P08 shots. We get another flare for winning this fight. I need 4 slots free, so there's a bit of a hang up here as I am deciding what I need. Get rid of the riot shells, Carcy. Get rid of the riot shells, past Carcy. Man, past Carcy is so stubborn with these riot shells. I got rid of the shotgun actually here. I got rid of that shotgun because we're about to get like a much better one whenever we hit the shelter. Because we got the black card at the start of the game. We can go into the secret armory and get a much better shotgun. A piece of crap PA3. So we gotta buy a lot of grenades. I buy like 36 grenades here. 3 pepper sprays. Probably would have been nice to get the M950 for turrets later, but I didn't. Before saving my game, I equipped the grenade launcher, loaded with regular grenades, then attached the P08 and put my pepper spray into my remaining slots. Then 2 more pepper sprays into the slots occupied by those colas I put there earlier. Lastly, I level up Energy Shot to level 2. Anyways guys, thanks everyone for watching. I decided to split the video in half here since this is the end of Disc 1, so if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe, and wait for the next video, which will be the entirety of Disc 2. Shoutouts once again to X-Grenadier, but I also want to extend shoutouts to Pinkie Pie Style and Secret Agent VX for helping me learn some of the finer points of this game's mechanics. Anyways guys, thank you all once again for watching, and see you all in Disc 2.